10 years on the road, making one-night stands, speeding my young life away. Lord, I've seen the world with a 5-piece band looking at the backside of me, singing my songs, one of his now and then, but I don't think Hank done it this way. Why yes, Mr. Waylon Jennings, that's actually exactly how old Hank did it. Just that way, actually. In the world of country, there's a man that stands as a sort of progenitor. A man who many look to as the first country superstar. An alcoholic hillbilly from Alabama who helped define a genre in the mainstream. And that man is Hank Williams. Now it'd be wrong to say that he invented or perfected country, as there were certainly great country artists before Hank Williams. But he was the first to get rich and famous from it. Jambalaya on the bayou, moving on over. There's a tear in my beer, alone and forsaken. I'll never get out of this world alive. These are just some of his greatest hits. And for good reason, too. I mean, they're catchy, most of their lyrics touch on something relatable, and, they're simple. They're far from the modern fish, truck, beer archetype so much of modern country clings to like it's a fucking lifeboat. Most of Hank's discography is jarringly human compared to where the genres come, which is what makes I Saw the Light so upsetting to listen to. Now, for a little background, Hank Williams was born on September 19th, 1923. And like any good Southern boy, he went to church with his mother every Sunday, singing in the choir while she played the organ. Now, Hank's father was gone from an early age after a bad accident, so he was largely raised by his mother. Now, to make an already abnormal childhood a little harder on Hank, he suffered from an early age with a spina bifida occulta, which is a spinal condition where your vertebrae is not entirely closed. Now, the specific variety that Hank had, in most people, you might not even notice you have it. It's dormant. Now, after a bad hunting accident, where Hank fell on his back, it really caused his condition to flare up, which made his life much harder than it already was. Backing up a little though, around the age of 8, young Hank became the protege of an African-American street musician named Rufus Payne, who taught the young Hank to play guitar and, more specifically, the art of blues guitar. This relationship with Payne would set the course for Hank to soar into his influential yet tragically short career. So, remember that spinal condition? Well, the best way that Hank figured out to deal with it was morphine and alcohol. From early on in his career, Hank was known as an unreliable performer, often showing up drunk if he did even show up at all. Now, despite that, his songs still made it very high on the country chart, to even charting on the pop charts of the day, which just goes to show you can be as unreliable as you want if you're good enough at your job. Around this time, a disgruntled fellow Opry star, Roy Acuff, once told him, "Boy, you've got a $10 million voice and a 10-cent brain." So here we have a good old Southern boy who's raised in church and regularly puts his dream career into peril for the vices of drugs and alcohol. Now, a rock star, sure, anyone would expect that. But for the man who wrote, "I wandered so aimless, life filled with sin, then Jesus came like a stranger in the night. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow in sight." Now sure, they're a little campy and idyllic, an ideal that no one can realistically live up to all the time, but there's still a far cry from the borderline rock star lifestyle that Hank Williams led. Even outside of his substance abuse, he was married twice, cheated habitually, and had a secret child who wasn't even born until after his death. Now, it would be easy to say that Hank was a good old Southern boy corrupted by the trappings of fame, and to some extent, sure, his fame most certainly helped to egg on his vices, but a close look at his life and career almost accidentally reveals a broken man turning his pain into art. While doing research for this video, I came across a portion of Hank's discography that I had never heard of. And I'm sure it's well known to a lot of people, but I had never heard of Luke the Drifter. So for those of you ignorant like I was, Luke the Drifter was a pseudonym used by Hank Williams to publish a different sort of music, where he wasn't singing like he was in his mainstream songs, more so telling stories, spoken word, almost sermon-esque pieces of art. And this collection, it really made a lot click for me in regards to Hank's story. Divorce, heartbreak, lonely mothers, men with broken hearts. This format allowed Hank to speak in a way his chart toppers just couldn't. I mean, I really do think it's some of his best work. Give it a listen. And I mean, the organ present in a lot of the Luke the Drifter album, it adds an almost solemn callback to Hank's time in church as a child. Seriously, give it a listen. I mean, unlike David Allan Coe, you can still easily find all of Hank Williams' songs. I think the big lesson we can learn from Hank Williams is that getting yourself out of a funk isn't a one-time thing, as I'm sure many of you know firsthand. I mean, sometimes there'll come a day where you finally clean your room, do your wash, make progress on that dream you've always had, and think to yourself, yeah, this is it, I've got my shit together. Then slowly, almost without notice, the old habits creep back in. The inadequacies of day-to-day life wear you down from your temporary high, and alcohol or whatever other vice you have creeps your way back in. It looks like an old friend. An old friend that knows what you're going through and wants to help. But of course it doesn't. And some part of you knows that the bad habits don't help, but they're what you're used to. I imagine that Hank Williams wrote I Saw the Light during a period in his life when everything was going well, where he might have stopped the drinking, not been using morphine, and really did see the light again. But flames die out, and the brightest ones burn out first. I wanted to make a short note here about the biopic I Saw the Light. It's about Hank Williams. Don't watch it, that ass is shit. Tom Hiddleston, or whatever his name is, he tried, I think. The movie has no focus, has weird cuts, weird sequences. It's more like tragedy porn slop than a heartful telling of Hank Williams' story, which he really deserves. Mr. Hiram Hank Williams died on January 1st, 1953, of a heart attack in the back of his Cadillac. He was on his way to a concert.